Hi everyone, it's Katie, and today I have a rather exciting little video to share with you. A new deck arrived in the mail yesterday. Obviously this is an unboxing. I was a bit too excited to bother setting up the camera, but I posted an image of this on Instagram last night and a lot of you were very curious. So this video is just going to be sharing with you this really new exciting deck that I received yesterday. Now before we get into it though, I did want to let you know that this deck is out of print, and as far as I'm aware I got the very last copy. So you know, if you're concerned about me enabling you or whatever, you don't want to see this, please switch off. But for those of you who, you know, maybe have the opportunity to purchase this or trade for this second hand, this video hopefully will help you kind of get an idea of what you're receiving. And for those of you who just like to geek out and get excited about different decks, this is also for you. I'm definitely one of those people. I like seeing decks, even those that are out of print, because I think there's so many different interesting decks in the world. Anyway, that is my little disclaimer out of the way. Let's get into the fun stuff. Now this deck is by Robyn. I'll leave all the details. I'm sorry, it's very early in the morning. But she's published a few different decks, and while she was, this is the story I've heard, while she was in the process of creating one of her other decks that was a bit more, you know, well thought out, and the art was a little bit more time consuming or whatever, she got a bit of artist block. And so to kind of get her through that, she decided to create a deck, the minute deck, in which she allowed herself 5 minutes to complete each card, which I think is such a fun premise. So this deck certainly has that kind of sketchy, raw aesthetic, but I really like it, and I love the colors, and I just think it's a really fun, playful take on the classic Rider-Waite. Now I do also think that this was published a couple of times. I have the one that was printed by Tarot Connection, so the cardstock and stuff I think is a little bit different if you have an earlier printing, but they were all self-published, just kind of by different printing houses. That's how I understand it anyway. But she did also send me this really cute rainbow unicorn kitten card, which I thought was adorable, and she posted this really quickly, which was awesome. And she asked me what my favorite animal was, and I said dogs, and she's like, oh, what type? And I told her that I'm pretty partial to poodles at the moment, seeing as we have 2 of them, or my parents have 2 of them, and I walk them and I'm obsessed with them. And so she sent me this. It's this cute little pendant she made with a poodle. And I just love it. It is such a cute, special little personal touch that just really made me smile. Basically, this is a deck that I'd been wanting for quite a while. It does come in this kind of cool tin. And she made me a bag. This did come with bags, like when it was sold, but I think she said she ran out of those ones, so she made me a new one, which is very cute and very kind of her to do. But basically, this is a deck that I've been wanting for a very long time. But I thought it already was very much out of print and didn't really hold hopes of getting it, because I've seen this and other decks go for a lot of money, a lot more than I'm willing to spend anyway. These are the backings, which are super cute. And then someone on Facebook, I mentioned that, and someone on Facebook mentioned that she still had a couple of copies, or found a couple of copies or something. So I messaged her on Facebook straight away, and she's like, oh yes, I have one last deck, would you like it? And I was like, yes please, take my money. So I was very happy about that, and I do have a signed copy. Just love these colors, it's so cute. Now it is a bit of a smaller deck, it's on the smaller side, and it's quite heavy given its size. Like the cardstock is quite bendy and thin, but it feels really dense or something. It's really nice cardstock. In fact, it kind of reminds me, hang on, just give me a second. Yes, it does. It reminds me of my Tower of the Crone. Now I don't know which edition I have. I know I don't have the most recent one. So it's a little bit smaller than the Tower of the Crone, but it feels very similar in terms of like the finish and also just the cardstock. I've always loved the Tower of the Crone cardstock. Like, it's not too thick, in fact it's quite thin and bendy, but there's something about it that feels really durable and sturdy, which is awesome. But yeah, this Minute Tarot. I was trying to place which deck it reminded me of, and there you go. It reminds me very much of the Tarot of the Crone. As for our size comparison, this is a Centennial Rider-Waite-Smith, a pretty standard card size. And as you can see, it's quite a bit smaller, which I really like. I like these smaller cards. I mean, I don't want all of my cards to be mini, like mini, but I really enjoy this size. I don't know, they're just that little bit easier to handle, and obviously lay out if you want to do a larger spread too. Of course I like my larger sizes too, but I do really like me a smaller deck. So let's have a bit of a look, shall we? Oh, I'm so excited, it's so cute. I've only had one pretty brief look through this deck last night just before bed, and I was so in love with it already. I just love that, I mean, we just have this really playful, happy, alive sort of feeling to this deck, and I really like the colours too. I like how even the borders and the banner and the writing is all very raw. It's cute and it's pretty, but it's raw. And a lot of these faces are bordering on alien or fairy sometimes, which is another thing I'm really super into. This Empress is so cute. I just love it. I love how, you know, we still have a lot of the symbolism from the Rider-Waite-Smith. Even her crown, it looks a bit different. In the Rider-Waite-Smith she has all those stars, but it still is very much a Rider-Waite-Smith, just a whole lot more raw, a whole lot more playful, a whole lot more cute. I'm just really, really into it. And yeah, this is a deck that I've often looked at and really admired from afar, you know. I love this. It's so cute. This is just one of those decks that makes me smile at the end of the day. I love how even the clouds, like we saw it in the Fool as well, like they're swirly. Really like this Strength card. It almost looks like a toy lion, like a stuffed toy, which is super cute. The Hermit, it's beautiful. I like this Wheel of Fortune too. I like all of it, who am I kidding? Justice. I like how all of the borders kind of really shift to suit the feeling of the card too. That's something I quite like. This mustache and beard, like the goatee on the Hanged Man, chuckles me up a little bit. I don't know, I just think it looks quite funny. Really like this Death card. I love how the scythe almost looks like a moon. I don't know, that's just something that I'm really into that. I really like this Temperance card. I like all of them. Do you just want me to stop saying that? The Devil almost like blends in with the background. It's a really dark sort of card, and then just with this bright red. The Tower. And the Star. I love this star. I think it's so pretty. She almost looks like a mermaid with like the blue hair. Just such a pretty card. Like, I mean, if I tried to do something in 5 minutes, it just wouldn't even look like a human being. And so even though it's still quite sketchy and a little bit messy, it's still really, really pretty. I love this moon. I love how like this almost looks like curtains or something, like on an old stage. And the Sun. Again, like whenever there's animals, they kind of almost just look like they're toy animals, which I'm really into. Judgment. I love how happy these guys look. In the World. She looks like a fairy princess dancing in the garden. That's what that looks like to me, and I love it. Ace of Wands. Oh, that we had the little fire in the background here. And this almost looks like someone's just reached out and pulled up an entire giant tree. I love that there's like a lot of little things like that where maybe if someone had taken their time to be a bit more intentional about the art, it might have looked a different way. And there's certainly validity and like a lot of room for that sort of thing. But every now and then I think it's fun to just let happen what may happen, you know? It's such a pretty Four of Wands. But I think it's interesting that she's there by herself. I love these little, like the facial hair in this deck. They just make me giggle a little bit. And I like how like they're really pretty flowers on the end of the wands. And we have like a crown as part of the border. 7 of Wands. 8 of Wands. And 10. He looks like he's really struggling to kind of not drop all those, not just because they're heavy, but because they're also a bit awkward. Very cute Page of Wands with like a pyramid in the background. More facial hair and toy horses. I love this Queen of Wands. I love that we still have her cat and she's wearing this like really red flowy gown. And like her crown almost looks like flames. I think it's really cool. And I like how she's holding a staff, and to me that looks like it would maybe be like a quartz point. Like really like a wand, like not just a stick but a wand or a staff. I like it. And the King. And the Ace of Cups. Just really love the blues and greens, especially in this deck. I think they're really, really pretty. 2 of Cups. I love that there's still this kind of lion thing. It's a little bit messy and you're not quite sure what to make of it, but I think it's adorable. The 3 of Cups. Really like this 4 of Cups. He looks quite peaceful and happy, and a lot of the 4 of Cups, they look quite not very happy. I love these little hats and things that they're wearing. I love that the moon is smiling. And these look very precarious, actually. Maybe it's a good thing he's walking off before they all collapse. 9 of Cups. I love that it's like a fairy, like a wishing fairy or something. Fairy, come to grant you your wishes. And then the very colourful, very rainbow 10 of Cups. Love the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is one of my favourite cards at the moment. I just a little bit obsessed with it. Knight of Cups. He looks quite dramatic, doesn't he? I like it. And the Queen of Cups is very pretty. And the King looks like a very gentle, wise guy. And the Swords. Love these swirly clouds. This almost looks like an eye in the border. The 2 of Swords. 3. I almost didn't know where the 4th sword was, but it's in the stained glass window. I love the look on his face. And then off here crying. Like, it's a little bit different. In the traditional, we kind of have like some very grown, burly looking men, and one has obviously won and the others are kind of going off, whereas this is, I don't know, it almost could be like a woman in a gown crying, and he's looking pretty pleased with himself. 6 of Swords. 7. 8. Pretty standard sort of imagery there. 9. And the 10, the classic 10 swords in the back. Actually, when I first glanced at this, I thought this was like a frog man, because like his arms, they're that kind of really blue color, and then I thought this was like a, what do you call them, like the frog foot. just for half a second. Do you ever do that and look at something and you just see something really quite strange? Just for half a second. The Page of Swords. I love how he's like, well, to me that looks like he or she is wearing feathers. Has one in their hat as well, and all these butterflies. Very cute. I really like this card. And then the Knight of Swords is off on his Pegasus. I love it. I really like it. It's funny because that's actually like the most realistic of looking of the horses so far, and then it just has these giant wings on them. And the borders are very like, they look like wind or something. The Queen of Swords, again, she's wearing feathers and a butterfly crown. I love it. I'm so into this deck. And the King, oh yeah, he looks like he's wearing really big feathers, like a cape made of feathers. And the beautiful Ace of Pentacles. The 2. 3. He more looks like, he looks a bit more gentle than the Rider-Waite-Smith. He almost looks like he's cuddling the pentacle rather than like really tightly grasping. I don't know. There's a subtle difference, but he just looks a little bit more at peace with what he has rather than, I mean, he's still holding onto it pretty tightly, but it looks a little bit more tender, I guess. This card just looks just as cold and sad as the traditional 5 of Pentacles. And the 6. She looks really quite bored and disappointed almost. 8. I like this. I think it's really cute. And the 9 of Pentacles. I love this card. I love that she's still got like her little bird on her arm there, and she has like all the pentacles on a big I was going to say wreath, but that's not the right word. And a little snail. Oh, I just really love this card. 9 of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards in the deck. And I love that depiction. And I really like this too. Like, this guy looks super, super old and with a child, like the next generation. And then this little puppy. It just feels like, you know, kind of like passing down, whether it's like monetary resources or just, you know, knowledge and wisdom or whatever it is. Heritage, tradition being passed down and taught to the next generation. I don't know, there's something really cute about that. I love this Page of Pentacles with his book or her book. And the Knight. Really cute. And the Queen, isn't she beautiful with her little bunny? And like love hearts all over her dress. I'm totally into it. And the King. So those are all of the cards. A little flip through. I really like this backing. I think it's so pretty. Everything about this deck is just really cute and pretty. And I reckon this deck is just, I think it'll be a really great alternative to the Rider-Waite-Smith. Where the Rider-Waite-Smith can sometimes feel a little bit hard and structured. You know, this kind of maintains the very Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, but I think it'll be a little bit more free in terms of the messages it delivers. And I think given it was created, you know, with that kind of 5-minute snappy sort of put down what comes to you quickly method, my belief is at this point, my assumption is that it will give quite quick, snappy sort of readings. So we will see. I'm really excited. How about we give it a bit of a shuffle? I'm excited to feel how these cards shuffle because they feel so good. Let's start with just the overhand. Yeah, they feel really good. Like, the size is great for the hand. And they feel sleek enough that they don't catch at all. Like, they're not sticking together at all. But they're not slippery, so they're falling out of my hand everywhere. Really, really like this cardstock. I love, did you see how bendy that was? Oh, they're so bendy, but it doesn't ever feel like they're in danger of being damaged. Like, there's just something about this cardstock that's super, super, I don't know, bendy but durable. It just feels really, like, they're so bendy. Oh, I love it. I love it. And they definitely remind me of my Tower of the Crown, which is awesome. Let's just, oh, okay, hello. Let's just see how they kind of look. Who else is going to pop out? There we go. So that is the really cute, really lovely Minute Tarot, which I'm so excited to have. As always, feel free to leave any comments or questions below. I love talking to you guys in the comments down below, and I will do my best to answer your questions. If you want to get this deck though, as I said, I'm pretty sure I got the last one, but you are more than welcome to attempt to contact Robyn. Otherwise, I'll leave a link to my video that I did a little while ago on tips on how to find out of print decks. But that is all from me. Thank you so much for sharing this excitement with me. I hope you can tell from my voice that I'm really, really happy to have this deck in my life. And I will talk to you all again very soon. So much love, guys. Bye.